What's that?
Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage from New Orleans is brought to you in part by Flight by Yuengling, Circa Las Vegas, Smokey Mo's Barbecue, Synergenx Testosterone and Weight Loss, and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back to the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Along with Joe Reinagle, I'm Jay Synergenx. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage from New Orleans continues. Brought to you in part by Synergenx Testosterone and Weight Loss. Let's talk with our good friend Brian Baldinger from the NFL Network, and one of my favorite follows on Twitter with Baldy's breakdowns. Baldy, man, how you doing?
Jason, it's good. I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. I look forward to, not just because of the game, but like it symbolizes the finish line for me. You know, we all started this thing back in, mid-July, and you're doing a training camp tour and get through the season, announce games every Sunday, NFL Network stuff. But this is the finish line, and I'm a good vacationer.
Yeah.
So you get me to Tuesday, and we finish breaking this thing down. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to set sail.
What island?
Well, I mean, I did sneak away to Costa Rica, this past weekend. I could easily return. It's a good place to kind of sink yourself into. There's really no schedule. They have this thing in the Nicoya Peninsula, and I love it. There's a sign that says, "Bad roads bring good people." So you got to drive 2 hours of bad road, but when you get there, you're in a paradise.
It's worth it, I guess.
Worth it.
That's good. That's good. How much film do you watch during the season?
So I start, if I do a game like in the East Coast on a Sunday, and I could get back to NFL Films on Sunday night, I'll watch 3 or 4 hours Sunday night. But Monday, regardless, I watch 15 hours on Monday, and I watch 15 hours on Tuesday. And whatever's left, or whatever we might be looking at for the upcoming games, I'll do that Wednesday and Thursday.
I find that fascinating. I mean, you must really enjoy doing that.
I do.
That. Yeah.
I literally, I call it the bubble. I'm literally on the third floor at NFL Films, and I don't lock the door. I close the door, and I just go to work because I never really know what I'm going to see, or what I'm going to find. Like, I don't go in there with premeditative of what I'm looking for. Saquon might have run for 200 yards against the Rams. That's going to show up. But I'm really looking to see who did something well, who did something poor, a matchup, a play, a trick play, a stum bum, that Detroit runs. Like, I don't know what I'm looking for, and that's the beauty of it. That's what keeps it fresh.
Nice.
Baldy's breakdown, so much fun.
It is.
When you're seeing it on Twitter a day or two after the game. And Brian, I sometimes get mad because I'm a Cowboy fan. And I
play for that team. I wore the star, Jace.
I know, but watching the breakdown is the right word because the offensive line especially seemed to piss you off a lot this year when you were breaking down. That might be a little strong, but, here's this wrong, that's wrong, and, one thing I can't do is judge offensive line play. That's one thing that I've just never been able to be good at unless he's helping up the quarterback. Well, I know he's having a bad day.
But, okay, fair enough. But, I thought Brock Hoffman played good at center and guard. Zach goes down. It's not easy to replace Zach. You got a rookie in Cooper Beebe out there learning the business. Tyler Guyton, I thought would struggle to start with, but he's got all the talent in the world. But I thought it was going to take a while before he kind of settled in. He had flashes. He's good in the run game. I think he's got, a lot of things to work on. But they had a lot of changes on that line throughout the year. But, you look at the running back. He had a great season. Nobody knew what he was. I thought they ran the ball pretty well at times throughout the year, and he was a big part of it. And I thought up front they played pretty good to do that.
What do you think about Zach Martin? When you watch him this year especially, is he close to being done, or do you think he's got some more left in the tank?
I would never tell a player. Like I always,
well, sure.
Like if Zach was sitting here right now, I would tell Zach, play as long as you can, and then 2 more years. That because you got to exhaust it out of your body. He largely has been healthy throughout his career, 9, 10 years, whatever it is. Everybody knows the stat. He's got more first-team All-Pros than holding calls in his career. Like, we might never see that again. I don't think he's the same player that he was, say, 3 years ago. But he's also seeing a lot better players in front of him. Jalen Carter is a handful. Zach Martin in his prime, that'd be a handful. But, he's got to play next to a rookie center. learn that. There's learning curves. The center is the strength of your offense line. The better your center is. Tyler Biotis made a big difference in Washington. Travis Frederick made a difference when he was in Dallas. You got to give Cooper a chance to grow into the position, and I think Zach will play better if the center gets better. But I would say Zach still has good football left in him.
Brian Baldinger here on the Blitz. Looking at the offensive line, you mentioned Tyler Guyton, and hopefully he'll be like Tyler Smith.
Yep.
Get through the rookie year and then blossom. Terrence Steele on the right side, a kid from San Antonio. We've seen him since he was in high school.
Texas Tech, man.
He played so well and got the contract, but last year seemed like a rough year.
I would say that's fair, but it was a rough year for all of the offense. Sometimes they all go together. They didn't have a guy like Tony Pollard that, was going to get you explosive runs, at least initially, early on in the season. But I feel like Terrence is always just going to be a blue-collar guy out there. I don't think you're ever going to see a guy that's just going to shut people out. I don't think you're going to get that. And if you're playing from behind and teams are coming after you, you're probably going to have days where you look like you struggle out there. So, I think we've seen the best of Terrence Steele, which isn't bad if everything else is going good.
When you look at this, and I want to ask you about this because Micah Parsons said something yesterday that
he always is saying something.
Well, of course, right? He said that even if the Cowboys would have signed Derrick Henry, he wouldn't have had the year that he had in Baltimore with that football team. He sounded really dejected with that as well. Do you think that that's true first and foremost?
Yes, I do, because of Lamar. I think Lamar made Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry made Lamar. I think the style of offense, how they did have 3 new offensive linemen. They had to kind of learn their things. They had a rookie right tackle, ended up playing really well. But I think Lamar opened up a lot of the run game too. And so I thought they went hand in hand. I thought it was a perfect fit. That's not what Dak does. That's not what Cooper Rush does. So I don't think he would have had the same season that he had in Baltimore.
Brian Baldinger here on the Blitz. Let's go to the other way in Texas, talk about the Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud, an incredible rookie year, and it's not like he had a bad year this year, but he didn't play at the same level. And the Texans at times, they were clunky offensively. What were you seeing in your breakdowns of film with what was going wrong in Houston?
Well, the offensive line committed way too many penalties. And it was across the board. It was pre-snap penalties. It was holding. It felt like they were always behind the sticks for much of the year. And then, you lose Tank. You lose your 2 receivers. You lose Mixon for almost a month. I thought they lost a lot around the quarterback. And in the playoff game, look, I don't advocate anybody getting fired, but Bobby Slowick was not good in that game. You can't put Dalton Schultz on Karlaftis. Leave him and slide the line away from him. You can't do that. They did it 3 times. It led to bad plays in a game where they were in it. It's a 1-score game. So I thought there was a lot around. When I saw Houston this year in Cleveland when they were practicing at the University School. They played in the Hall of Fame game. They stayed in Cleveland to get ready for the first preseason game against Pittsburgh. So I went out and I saw them practicing, and I thought, this is a Final Four team. The additions of Daniil and Danico and, just the return of CJ, with the receiver, I thought they had a chance. And then it really, outside of that first game against Indianapolis, where CJ was unbelievable in that game, I felt like they never really got to where they were the year before.
It brings up a good point. You mentioned CJ, and you got Jaden Daniels this year, and these rookie quarterbacks who come out and really have a fantastic rookie season. Seems like defensive coordinators adjust, and the good ones can get past that, but the others can't. Do you see that in the NFL?
Yeah. I do think, that what we saw from Jaden this year, especially in the run game, that Cliff Kingsbury only has so many different formations, machinations to sort of give you a cheese play where you're chasing cheese and there goes Jaden Daniels. Teams are going to study the run game real hard. And, Jaden, for the most part, outside of the game against Carolina where he got blasted pretty good, he stayed really healthy. But I thought he ran too much, and I don't know if you can sustain that for anybody. So, and he's not built like Lamar. He's not built like Jalen Hurts. And so I don't know that anybody with that frame could do that. But I do think there is that second year that's not a slump, But there's that sophomore year where, all right, these coordinators, especially in their division here, Vic Fangio, you go around the league right now, are going to have a chance to really study what they did.
Brian Baldinger here on the Blitz. Obviously, Super Bowl coming up on a Sunday. Cowboy fan, I don't want to see Philadelphia win, but I do want to see history.
Yeah.
I almost wonder, no matter – now, once we got to the NFC Championship game, I knew I was going AFC. But the idea of seeing history 3 in a row, I know a lot of people have Kansas City fatigue. Who do you like in the game on Sunday?
Jason, I don't have any Kansas City fatigue. As just an analyst and a fan of the game, I like seeing greatness. I got to know Andy Reid literally his first year in Philadelphia. I lived there, got to be around him quite a bit. I'm a fan of that organization. But I came out at the start of the playoffs and thought the Eagles would go 4-0. I thought they were the best team from their bye week on. Really, week 6 on, I thought they were the best team. I thought they were the best team in the trenches. And I think that's the challenge for Kansas City this week. And I'm with you. I think they can create their own legacy that no team has ever done before, at least in modern times. So if that happens, it happens. And I'll celebrate Kansas City. But I thought Philadelphia is here to win it.
What is it about Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid that they just find ways to win?
So I was doing it. I announce games every Sunday for national radio. So I was in Kansas City they played Cincinnati week 2 this year. And I saw Mahomes. He has the same routine every game. So he's in his sweats. He's in his corner. He's doing his stretch. So I go and I see him. And I just said, on a weekly basis, Patrick, how many new plays does Andy Reid present to you? He goes, it never ends, Baldy. It could be 6, could be 8. Maybe we walk through it. Maybe we put it on hold. Maybe we come back to it when some player is healthy. But we have 6 or 8 new plays every week. Like, there's no playbook for Andy Reid. We showed a formation against Buffalo that they hadn't shown all year. They scored 2 touchdowns out of the formation. So I think part of it is just the creativity that Andy has and the quarterback that loves something new every week. It's never the same for him. It keeps him on his toes.
Interesting.
Brian Baldinger joining us here on the Blitz, of course, always with the energy. And now you got to have, after Tuesday, the energy on vacation. Synergenx Low T Center, man, they help a lot with that.
Well, I don't know about you, Jason, but I'm not the same man that I was 25 years ago.
Neither is he.
Yeah, and so some are. I'm not that fortunate. My genetics kind of ran out. So Synergenx Low T, you can get your testosterone levels, measured. You can find out if you're in the lower rank right now, no matter what your age is. In the mid-30s, it starts to drop now. Into your 40s, 50s, you can really get back to the way you once felt. Sleep, energy, with your wife, your girlfriend, all those things can be improved. And really, what they've done is they've taken – you could go to a low T center. They have 600 of them in the country. But you could do it online right now. You can order the product, get your score. They can deliver it right to your doorstep with exactly the right measurements in the syringe that you need. It's all measured out for you. They've taken all the guesswork out. It's really a phenomenal program.
Well, and the fact that it's personalized, because not all T or T is the same, which is the big thing. Synergenxhealth.com. 6 locations in San Antonio. Brian Baldinger, appreciate you stopping by, my friend.
My pleasure, guys. My pleasure. Thank you.